Hello everyone, this is the video review for the ODAC and USA South conferences for week 1. Hopefully you and your crews will be able to use this information during your pregame in order to prepare for your week 2 matchups. Our first play has to do with a kickoff that goes out of bounds. On these plays, the short wings are responsible for covering the spot where the ball goes out of bounds. Put a flag on the ground approximately where the ball goes out of bounds to ensure that we have that spot in case a penalty enforcement is needed from that location. It is important to remember that if R chooses to put the ball into play next, they do not have an option to place the ball between the hash marks. They have to have their first snap after the kickoff on the hash mark closest to where it went out of bounds. Our next play involves a punt near the sideline. This punt does not go out of bounds, but look at our gunner here. It's hard to tell from the video whether that player steps out of bounds or not, but it is important to remember that K cannot voluntarily step out of bounds prior to touching the ball or further participating in the play. Our deep wing on this play has eyes on this player and does not have a hat or a flag on the ground, so we have the indication that he stayed in bounds for the duration of this play. This third play involves a punt that goes out of bounds while in the air. On the field, we currently have 5 players in the backfield, and at the snap, you'll see our head linesman throw a flag high in the air. Notice that the short wing on the other sideline does not have a flag. If we're going to have a flag for a legal formation for 5 men in the backfield, we want to make sure both short wings put this flag up into the air simultaneous with the snap. Now, once the punt is airborne, we notice that it lands out of bounds, probably about at the 42-yard lines out of bounds. However, we're not going to mark it at the 42. What we need is our deep wing to come up and make a call as to where this ball went out of bounds with the assistance of the referee. Notice that the back judge has taken the spot of the deep wing on this play. Deep wings, it's your responsibility to find the referee in the backfield and walk up the sideline with your hand in the air until the referee chops you in to indicate where the ball will be next put into play. Our next play involves a foul on a kickoff. Look at the player in white on the left and the player in blue on the right. Here we have a clear block in the back. Now, our mechanics say that we are in zone coverage, but a good rule of thumb is that wherever you are during the kickoff, look for the nearest matchup between opposing players. Our blue player out by the numbers is uncontested, as in he does not have a white player in his area. We do not have to watch that player. However, the first interaction we have is near the middle of the field where this block in the back happens. Notice that this player, even though he gets knocked down, is right back at the point of attack later on in the play. Since it's hard to determine advantage and disadvantage at the point of attack on a kicking play, let's keep in mind that anything that is obvious should be called on these plays. Our next play involves a foul on a punt play. Look at this matchup at the top of the screen. Here we have an illegal block in the back that is a little bit more than necessary on a play where we've already identified that there's a fair catch. Our job on the field is not only to make sure that play is fair, but also that play is safe. This is a big hit that is unnecessary and is a good call to prevent further action like this from happening later in the game. We have another punt play with a foul here on the outside. Watch this matchup as the punt travels downfield. If we follow our rule of concentric circles, the back judge should have its focus on the primary receiver, while our two other deep wings focus on their matchups as they move down the field on the outside. This matchup escalates to something beyond the scope of what we would consider football. We need to address these issues as they pop up during the game, because if we take our eyes off of this, it's going to escalate to something we can no longer control. This is a good catch by our field judge on this play. Keep your eyes open and be aware of these matchups that are going to escalate and get out of control. On this play, we have another example of extracurricular activity that doesn't belong in the game of football. We have a hold here on the inside that's picked up by both our short wing and our umpire, which is good. However, we want to make sure we continue officiating through the end of the play. From the end zone view, you're going to see a late hit by White that we're going to want to flag as an unsportsmanlike conduct foul, because the player in blue is obviously down and we do want to protect him as much as we can. However, blue retaliates, and you'll see a head slap after this play, shoving the white player to the ground. Now on this play, neither of the covering officials or the deep wing on that sideline had a flag. The UNS on the blue player came by the side judge on the opposite side of the field. I know if we have a flag on the ground, we want to make sure we get that information to the referee, but we must continue to officiate throughout the play to ensure we don't miss these actions that occur at the end of plays. Our next two plays involve false starts of the second kind. In this example, number 4 is not set before the tape starts rolling and continues to move without ever becoming set for 1 second prior to the snap. In situations like this, we need to shut the play down. This is considered a false start of the second kind, since the offense is never in formation before the ball is snapped. We have a similar situation in this example. 32 is not yet set. You're about to see 24 go in motion while 82 moves from a position on the line to off the line. At no point in time were all 11 people on offense set for 1 second. So we're going to shut this play down. Our short wing does a good job getting a flag on the ground and communicating with a staccato whistle that the play will no longer continue. On this next play, let's look at our back judge and our deep wing. As the ball and the player in possession of the ball approach the goal line, we look at our back judge and he has great position straddling the goal line. We have a fumble and our back judge correctly puts a beanbag down at the location of the fumble. From this angle, we'll get to see the deep wing. We see the deep wing do the same thing. A toss of the beanbag to the location where the fumble occurs, and then all eyes are on the loose ball in the end zone. Now, at this level, we do not have the benefit of replay. So, let's get as much information as we can as we try to discern what the appropriate call on this play is. The more information we have that we can apply to this situation, the better off we'll be. This one is a very close play as to whether or not the white player recovered the ball before touching out of bounds, but we have to make this decision live. No aid of the eye in the sky. The last two plays We'll have you and your crew make the call. On this play, we're going to key the running back on blue. With our new rules considering blocks below the waist, is this block legal or illegal? Our second you make the call involves a catch, no catch in the end zone. It's time for you and your crew to make the call. Is this a catch or a no catch? That wraps it up for our Week 1 video review. Please make sure to review this with your crew, participate in the You Make the Call series, and communicate with your partners out on the field. Let's have a great week too, everybody.